And we're live.
Yay! Oh, I looked down at
Yes. So back. So are you working the 24th?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Wait. Sorry. No, what is the 24th?
Friday.
Yeah. We're working Friday the 24th.
Okay. So so that'll be actually, let me double check. I'm sorry, that's the 23rd.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, 23rd. So, yeah. So we'll have a, one more before the holiday. We will have a one more.
I work until the 28th.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You know why I get Christmas off this year?
Why?
It's a Sunday.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. The Christians are grateful this year where it falls, because otherwise it's completely ignored. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not a bank holiday. It's nothing. It's nothing. Dinner date is all it is.
Not even the 25th. 25th is nothing.
Yeah.
25th is take down those decorations. And
right. Get ready for New Year's. Yeah. Yes, definitely. All right. Hey, Matt, how's it going?
Hey, people are in the chat.
All right. So what is going on? So we're getting ready. So tomorrow is the big live stream.
God willing.
Yes.
Tomorrow. The only thing I might throw a wrench in it is I didn't realize that my partner is getting her COVID vaccination today.
Oh, okay. So we may have to have a Christmas Eve live stream.
I'm really hoping nothing happens, right? For tomorrow.
Well, my daughter's in school on Christmas Eve, so we can live stream that day if you want. Oh. It's possible. Yeah, she's at a Buddhist school, so they're like, yeah, what? Jesus who?
Exactly. Well, it's weird. Like, I said this on social media, or Twitter the other day. I'm just like, okay, does anyone else think it's weird, or I think it's weird, how Christmas here is completely secular, but there's no distinction between the types of music. Right, like you'll get like rocking around the Christmas tree played right up against like something where it's spouting out like the King of Men is born, and I'm just like,
yeah, that's true.
It's not that it's weird that they're together. I think it's just like back in the States or like other places, it's like, okay, it's at least a semblance of a religious holiday, right? Where here it's just like, no, it's not religious at all. Never was, never will be. Why are you playing the weird kind of religiously Christmas music? Oh, because you're not actually listening to it and you're not distinguishing it, right?
No
you're
idea
saying
what the
Christmas
lyrics
music,
are.
right? You're just kind of you've adopted the entire thing and we've now flavored it to kind of fit your palate.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's a funny kind of a famous image from a Japanese American wrote a book about his life in Japan and then living abroad. And he talked about going back to Japan and seeing crucified Santa Claus as a decoration. It's like, wait, whoa.
First of all, that's Easter, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so.
I still do like how they dress Colonel Sanders up in the Santa Claus outfits. I mean, white guy with a white beard.
Yep, of course.
Why not?
Yeah. Sure, why not? Yeah. He's from Kentucky too, right? Just like Santa.
Kentucky, North Pole, it's the same place.
Yeah. So we got some Oathmark going. We got a big stack of
That's a big stack, yeah.
miniatures from
It'll be bigger when I bring over all the boxes and stuff from my place. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, so we'll get a setup that hopefully we can see everything well and just sit and kit bash.
Yeah. I think we'll do the first time I kit bash stuff with other people.
Oh, cool.
See, normally I have to like kit bash at home in the cold little spare room after everyone has gone to bed. Like, trying to like clip little bits off and like make sure they don't fly somewhere. Yeah. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, that'll be great. Yeah, and if we can get some interaction and not a lot of dating
spam my god,
on the chat.
That was the worst.
But we'll be able, since we're not playing a game or anything, we'll be able to handle the chat a little bit better.
When we're trying to play Brawl Arcane, just like Russian spam bot. I don't want to follow that link.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Matt. Yeah, we're gonna do. We're just gonna do it like assembly and like kind of kit bashing. And I don't think I'll get anything primed or anything. It's a little too cold, especially here. Oh yeah, that's the thing too. I'm not gonna have anything 3D printed because I can't ventilate.
Yeah.
The wind, when I open the window, it's been so, especially where we are, it's freezing cold, and so the wind is like blasting in.
Well, good for ventilation.
Yeah. That's right.
Not for It's not really being into 3D printing except through you. Thank you very much. I didn't realize that like temperatures affect resin and printing times and stuff like that. So yeah,
so it's just too dang cold. And same with priming too, unless I'm going to do it inside and suck on some paint fumes. There's no way to get it done. All right, so let's get started for this week. It's kind of a slow week, I guess, leading up to the holidays. Yeah. Oh, but there was a good actually, let me talk about this before we get started. Matt sent me a really good thing that Chaosium posted. And this is the thing, I've already heard this, and I'm curious what you've heard in kind of the indie RPG space, because I know that the burden and expense of producing an RPG, producing any kind of book or something you want to kickstart or you want to crowdfund, you want people to pay for, you need some art.
Yep.
Right?
Okay.
So the subject of AI art is becoming very prevalent. And one of the first things I heard when someone saw some decent art is like, oh, this is going to be great for Kickstarters. People are going to have gorgeous art on all their RPGs. And, the AI art just solved the problem. Free art for everybody that looks great. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. So Chaosium just, what would it be today? Yeah, just today released a statement saying, AI art and Chaosium. Chaosium is art is important to Chaosium, and our artists deserve a lot of credit for our successes over the past several years. We're updating our art contract templates to include the provision that AI art programs are not to be used. The work needs to be a product of a human artist who can vouch that they created the piece, and that does not contain unlicensed derivatives of someone else's work.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Props to Chaosium for doing that.
Yeah, I think that's great. And that's the thing I don't think people understand, like how naive they are about the technology. How does this AI learn?
It doesn't.
It just harvests your rendering styles, your paint styles, and everything. People that have spent years refining, it just lifts full cloth and just pastes into a now it's a raccoon in your your style. And to think that suddenly there's this world of free art now, and all it's going to do is make artists gate their work and encrypt it, and have all kinds of look for options to prevent bots from crawling it.
Yep.
And so I think it's so. What's your kind of response to when people first started saying, "Oh, hey, now we've got free art for all of our supplements"? So, hey, DMsGuild, look out! I'm going to have some good-looking stuff.
I would be kind of surprised if the DMsGuild actually did anything like this, right? Because I think that would. This is kind of negative on the DMsGuild, right? Like, I think the DMsGuild coming up with a similar clause about no AI-generated art, I think would... My feeling is it would lessen the amount of content that's getting uploaded there, right? So I don't think they would do it. I think it's a great idea because, it's not free art, right? Like, didn't pay for it, but it still stole someone else's style, right? And there are any number of people out there doing free or low cost, right? Creative Commons illustrations, right? There's so many Patreons or like projects, like other Kickstarter things you can join where it's like, okay, once a month you get a picture, right, for this, and you're supporting an actual human being,
right,
as opposed to someone who just stole AI art.
Yeah. And ArtStation, that the website that's mostly professional artists showing their portfolios and kind of a social network, basically. They just got flooded with AI art, and the artists freaked out about it and said, we got to do something about this. And really, high reputation, big artists on the site were saying, you got to stop this, you got to do something. Their response was, we'll tag it. And we don't want to stop the flow, but it's going to pollute and just corrupt the site because the front page is now just covered with AI generated art. So you're not seeing anybody that's promoting their skill, promoting their portfolio. So
sorry, people, art is expensive.
Yeah. It's just like one of those necessary expenses, and you benefit so much from having a good looking, and especially like if you're working with one artist, your whole book looks very unified and has a style and a look, and people identify with that, and then it's overall a good thing, and people, artists are willing to work with you, to get their work out there, to get known, and so it's not like you're dealing with these you're not going through agents and things to deal with this. You're not negotiating.
Especially if like the big people like Chaosium and Paizo and like WotC, right? Like, they have to set up like contracts and go through like all this negotiation and stuff. But like, it's still a good idea to have like a contract. But like little indie people, like you're just kind of like work for trade right? Like it's like, okay, cool. It took you this long to do an illustration. I'll do that many hours of editing for you or stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and that's how it should be. I mean, what the whole scene should be is trading skills and actually, working together to be better together than you could be individually. Yeah. So my favorite quote so far that's come from all this AI art showing up is Guillermo del Toro said, illustration made by machine is an insult to life itself.
Wow. Tell us how you really feel.
Exactly. Yeah, so hopefully this kind of dies down. And, some people are comparing it right away. Oh, this is just like, sampling in hip-hop. It's harmless. It's part of the art form. It's being reappropriated, so it is creative. It's like, yeah, but you can't be sure the artist's intent, the user's intent. It's not an artist. The user's intent is pure, like sampling for tracks. In songs, it's not that clear cut, and because it involves stealing, like in a very imperceptible way, or in a very difficult to prove way. Like there's going to be a case eventually where they're going to be looking at two pieces of work and say, obviously this rendering style comes from this specific piece that the software learned.
Could you prove that though?
I know that's going to be really difficult because it's theft in a way that is concealed enough that that you can probably get away with. Like legally, it's going to be very difficult. I mean, there probably is AI that can kind of reverse engineer, or what they're probably going to have to do is, if this is going to be allowed commercially, the AI is going to have to like cite its sources. Basically, it's basically going to say this is what this is where all of this came from.
Do you think it would be able to do that though?
I don't know.
Like all.
Oh yeah,
I don't know what
long,
huge subset of stuff that's been trained on. Imagine
right.
How could you even start to go about doing
I'm sure
that?
The data sets must be gigantic, and they're just getting more sophisticated. So that might be the problem. Is it's too late now. Unless you stopped it at the beginning, it's too late because it's already, you've just entered the data set, but the AI itself is going to keep evolving and refining. So it's going to be blending and hiding what it's learned from you deeper and deeper into what it's rendering. So eventually, it's like, you're not going to be able to prove anything.
You're going to do much credit.
But you're not going to be able to prove anything. No, it is. They are like rapidly sophisticating. Like these releases keep coming out, and just like, oh man.
I'll be worried when it is able to spit up people with the correct number of fingers. Right? That's
it's coming. Well, that must be all the crappy source that it finds. Yeah, it just needs an AI specifically for fingers. Humans have this many. All right, well, let's get started. Yeah, I just wanted to thanks, Matt, for sending me that. I thought that was a really good.
That's good, and yeah, that's definitely something that's being talked about in like indie circles, where it's just like, come on, we're already making a little as it is.
Yeah, don't
make us make even less by not paying an artist.
Replaced it. Yeah. It's once I heard that response, I was just like, "Are you kidding me? Do you have any idea what you're saying?" Yeah, it's nonsense. All right, so this week, let's do this. Welcome to the Weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on the Weekly, WotC community content program now includes Roll20.
Okay.
And that includes Paizo content too. Okay. So we'll get to that. Roll, ROLE, is not a VTT.
All right.
Dungeons and Dragons players, under-monetized.
Oh, okay.
That's the word of the week. And Paizo holiday discount code, just for your last-minute holiday shopping. And there's something really cool that I noticed about the Paizo web store I wanted to bring up. So let's start with this. So this is just an announcement. So I think we talked about this back because they initially said in July, Roll20 and DriveThruRPG, they're going to be working together under Ankit Lal to, it's not a merger, but it's collaboration, releasing stuff that is available. So DriveThruRPG can buy content from Roll20. Right. It'll be shared between platforms, so digital and then VTT content. So that's OneBookShelf. The owners, the parent company of DriveThru, and so they're expanding to cover Roll20, and so it's just they updated kind of the terms. I think that the biggest thing about this is they updated the terms and how it varies from what they're doing with DMsGuild and everything. So the community programs allow fans to create and sell their own content using official content published by various IPs. Mm-hmm. So through the program, you'll soon be able to create and sell your own content to use on Roll20 as well. So Roll20 art packs, token markers sets, adventures, rulebook add-ons, VTT play aids, and product packages. So all supported. Also, it will be supported through marketplaces like the DMsGuild, and also Pathfinder Infinite. So that's the thing that I was happy to see, that this wasn't just a Roll20 favoring WotC and favoring D&D. So Paizo's Starfinder and Pathfinder materials are also going to be involved in this, but they were kind of unclear. They had an FAQ, said, well, the terms aren't completely, and so we don't have a clear idea of how this changes the split or how how this affects like the ownership of these things. And so when is this rolling out? So you can start building content for Roll20 now, although there won't be a way to connect that content to the DMsGuild or Pathfinder Infinite just yet. But by next month, we'll have more clearer creator guidelines for you. So it's just the beginning of this, but I don't know. This is the beginning of, and I guess it's everybody getting ready for the effect of 1D&D,
right?
On the ecosystem,
kind of the walled garden, kind of thing.
Right. So everyone is, bracing, and so hopefully there'll be, if 1D&D is impenetrable and there isn't a way for independent people or homebrew or anything to get into there very easily, hopefully there'll be places like DriveThru and Roll20 that'll make it possible. So we will see.
I mean, there's always going to be a way to sell. Okay, I don't know what the SRD or whatever kind of open gaming license will exist for 1D&D, but I mean, people can always make stuff and just flog it on their own website. I mean, downside there is you're not going to get the number of eyes on it that you would in like the DMsGuild or like Roll20 or DriveThruRPG. So, yeah. Which of course, I mean, if a tree fell in the woods and no one's there to hear it, if you made something to sell and no one bought it, was it worth it, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah.
I think I kind of made myself sad now with that because of all the stuff I make that doesn't sell. Yeah.
Stream over. Okay, we're done. Yeah. No, that's true. It's that is a difficult problem, and so you give up a pretty decent percent of anything you would make. But basically, you would have to do that with your time or your money anyhow to promote, to market your own stuff. So it's difficult to decide, and who you ally yourself with or who you allow to take that percentage is, I think, important.
Only because we were talking about kind of not representation, but visibility,
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Not that I really follow superhero news, but like Henry Cavill won't be Superman anymore. Right?
Yeah.
And I kind of had a snarky little uptweet or thing like, well, that's more time to paint Warhammer miniatures.
Yes, right.
And then someone said like, okay, imagine what kind of audience he would get if he did like painting streams, right? And it just kind of like clicked over it. He can do whatever he wants to do, and I'm not saying he shouldn't do anything, but I just kind of had this thought. Imagine what would happen if Henry Cavill mentioned Turnip 28 or sat down to paint like Frostgrave miniatures, right? Or said, I also play this other game, right? Like, it just really heightened how someone who already has an audience, just by a casual mention or just like one little thing, could like completely elevate this other thing. And I'm not saying he has a responsibility to do that. I'm not saying he needs to or should or even must do that, right? It was just kind of this interesting, what if, right?
Yeah. Or if his management would allow him to,
maybe
they can't get a piece of that, so
Right.
No, but I think that's a good point. But the only thing I'm happy about with the announcement that he's not Superman is now there is a possibility he's Eisenhorn. His schedule is clear.
Okay.
His schedule is
I thought you were going to say, I'm like, he's already not coming back for like Witcher 4, right?
Yeah, right.
Which after season 2.
Yeah, but that would be great. I mean, if they could convince him, if he could, like his passion for war.
Bald?
What's that?
Isn't Eisenhorn bald?
No. He's,
really? Well, I must be thinking of someone else.
Well, he kind of varies in illustrations. The latest incarnation, like the latest illustration on the cover of the omnibus, you could put a Henry Cavill in that. I mean, maybe he's a little bulky, but that'd be a great fit. I think he's got that kind of the gravitas and presence that would work for an Eisenhorn.
Does Eisenhorn say fuck a lot?
No, he has relationships with demons, so I think that works. So we'll see. This is, we're going to see a lot of people circling the wagons and getting ready for this effect. And so mentioning things like Roll20, there was an interview on Dicebreaker with the co-founder of Roll. So Roll is, I think it's playroll.com is the website. And I think I looked at this several years ago when it was just an app. And it was an app that just linked to a website, but was basically like a group finder kind of thing. I'm not sure if I'm confusing names of things because everything is named like pretty close to the same. But these guys they did a Kickstarter in 2020 to kind of build what they and I looked at the site and I'm still not quite sure because I'm looking for alternatives. I'm still mourning Astral and I'm looking for alternatives and nothing quite does what I want it to do. There's still too much grids and tokens and things on virtual tabletops that I don't need. I need to be able to do scenes. So if you've seen the Blade,
playing a game that uses a grid.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That's right. I've got no choice now. Pathfinder 2, second edition. Here I come. But the looking at this interface, they name things strangely. Like you're making sheets, and as like a character sheet is a sheet, a scene. What is a sheet?
Right.
Like they have terminology that's not very clear. But I think these guys are kind of closer. It doesn't look like there's lighting effects and tokens and grids. It looks like there's resources, and you're playing a little more theater of the mind. Unless I'm misinterpreting it, there wasn't anything on the website that really explained it, but they're talking about so Elle Dwight, the CEO and co-founder, talked to Dicebreaker and was basically saying that they're not worried about D&D's plans. Like they think that they are separate and unique enough that they're not going to have any effect. So basically, what Roll is, or what they call it, is a tool set for conversation gaming.
Okay.
And so that means it's not strategic. There's not they're not worried about measuring and different status effects and things. And and that's how basically Blade Runner worked really well with showing scenes and pictures and showing the character portraits and things, and also the evidence, different graphics for evidence. So things have evolved very quickly. So we've got One More Universe, Foundry, Roll20, Fantasy Grounds. Like there's a lot of stuff out there to try to do this online, and people were incentivized over the lockdown years, the pandemic, lockdown, to try to do this, to be able to physically meet. So I think they took advantage of this. So she's basically saying that Roll is niche, and that they should be able to handle this storm, and also that so she believes that an intuitive and modular user experience, along with a body of DRM-free tabletop games offered through their marketplace, will set them apart and help them stay away from the kind of competition of one.
I wonder what is currently in their marketplace.
It's pretty small. There's decent stuff though. I think there's kind of I should have made a quick list, but there's only maybe like half a dozen, but they're good games, and it's newer things. But they also have a tool for importing from the D&D digital tool set now. You can import sheets from there, so they are, if you want to play D&D
without a grid.
Theater of the mind, you can import assets. So maybe they're just kind of adding tools and things that have been requested, but they've intentionally stayed simple and abstract tools for more map-centered play and not grids and things. So they're calling it a conversation games. So I don't know. The one thing that that scared me a little bit in this interview was talking about the effect of Critical Role. And all the other Dimension 20, Transplanar, Rivals of Waterdeep, the endless actual plays. So Roll has a really nice suite for webcams and audio. They say their audio is better than Discord. They've got nice quality webcam windows and stuff. But this is the thing that I would argue with, and I just kind of stumbled upon this. But a quote from this interview is, watching people perform. So what is compelling about gaming versus online versus Overwatch or Diablo or something online that you can play multiplayer? It's watching people perform. It's watching people interact. It's having that face-to-face interaction. And I think when it's in webcam windows, no, it's not. I mean, I mean, if people are in the same space, and that's what I think the success of Critical Role and things, people are interacting around a table and they're professional actors. I mean, there is something a little entertaining. It's like watching some geeky dinner party or something.
Do you really want to do
more
that?
I know. So I think that's a little bit wrong-headed, but that's how they've kind of focused things. And so
maybe they mean face-to-face in the fact in the term that here's a little window with the person's face.
Yeah, right.
As
then you're seeing,
to like
you're seeing the actual people playing there. Yeah, but I think that's the direction of tabletops and stuff. I mean, we have had a lot of fun just Discord audio and some sort of platform to show images and to roll dice and exchange images. That's basically all that's needed, and we've created great actual play content. We keep getting people saying more of this. I'm actually watching the video. I'm not only listening to the audio. I'm watching the video because I'm using all of the art assets from the Blade Runner RPG, and so it looks it's immersive, and it's all Martin Grip's beautiful artwork that was done for that. So it kind of keeps people engaged in story and things that when you have personality and you're looking at a guy and saying, oh, when was the last time he washed that beard? It's like it's a little distracting. Or like zooming people's like all the Funko Pops and stuff behind their heads in their little webcam windows. So I don't know. I think they are on the right track in some senses, and also like kind of wrong-headed by leaning so heavily into webcams and how important it is to see all the players. So yeah, I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see how this changes things. But they sound pretty confident that.
Well, I think if they're like niche enough, right? Like okay, yeah, the big replacements, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are going to want like lighting effects and grids and all this kind of like. Basically, I don't know. It doesn't appeal to me because it kind of seems like, why are you not just playing a fucking video game?
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
like,
it does.
You're putting all this work into it to make it look fantastic and awesome, and that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Not what I want. Right? So they've gone like, not that Roll has gone a completely different direction, but they're like, okay, no, we're our audience is games that don't really need that, right?
Mm-hmm.
First thing that popped to mind when they said conversation-based games, that Story Brewers Good Society game, right?
Oh, uh-huh.
Where like you're playing the Jane Austen novel, where like you're not gonna need a fucking map, except unless it's like a map of the house,
right?
Yeah, but you're not gonna
like
like count out squares. So just like, okay, well, you're cleaning the bedroom over here, and you're down here, right? And you don't. It's mostly just conversation. So yeah, conversation. Actually, I kind of like that. We were talking before about how it's translated in Japanese as table talk.
Yeah, table talk games. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so the emphasis on the communication and creating a story together, like collaborative storytelling, I think is very fun with mechanics, like with mechanics that restrict you, so you like struggle within that system to tell an interesting story and fail, and like what does that failure look like? I think
it's funny, and I'm like prolonging it. I'm gonna have to like go soon.
But, okay.
Like even just a conversation, right? Like even like a free form conversation, which like my first game of Dungeons and Dragons was just like an older kid in the karate class, like narrating this thing. And of course I die within like 5 seconds because he was an asshole, right? But anyway, like even that, even something that like that doesn't have rules has rules, right? And the rule is whatever the GM wants to happen, right? Or it's like, or you wait for someone to finish talking, or I woke up on a bad side of the bed today, so this, right? Like every game has rules, even if you say it doesn't. Right?
Yeah, interesting.
Like,
yeah.
They're just different kinds of rules, right?
No, that's true.
Like playing make-believe on the playground, right? I hit you. Oh, I'm like, no, I used my ice power. Like my kid's at the stage where like nothing gets past her, right? Well, I'm going to do this. Barrier, ice shield, barrier. I'm like, don't I get to win sometimes? Like, no, I say this, right? And like, we're at this, like, sometimes the resolution is an argument. Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's how we resolve this issue. We argue until someone gives up, right? Yeah.
Nice.
We just kind of evolved to like rolling a die and then accepting the results. Yeah.
Yes.
It's frustrating.
Yeah. But no, that's very true. Yeah, so we'll see. If more similar things pop up, or what our choices are going to be.
Then they'll have competition.
Yeah. Right. How the landscape is going to look once we get to next year, and all those new things are going. I guess it's going to be a few years before One D&D, but the beginning of that promotion is happening already. So if you wanted to fix D&D, and I think the CEO of Hasbro and of WotC have kind of really nailed this. I think they've really come down to what's missing from.
They brought back the Warlord class.
That's right. No, it was just a simple phrase that I think solved everything. I mean, what is D&D missing? It's missing a recurrent spending environment. I mean, of course, it should have been so obvious.
Microtransactions.
Right. So, this is more fallout from that wonderful fireside chat that the CEO of Hasbro and then so Chris Cox and then WotC CEO Cynthia Williams are talking about under-monetized. Players are under-monetized because the DMs, of course, buy all the books and they read everything. But the players, those lazy-ass, cheap-ass players, they just show up with some dice and a pencil.
See, here's the thing, right? Like, if D&D or WotC really wanted to monetize players, based on my own little stream, the amount people will drop on dice is astronomical. Right. There's your monetization.
Yeah, right. And why are you expecting more? And where is this going to come from? And unfortunately, because all of these people are from Microsoft, it's going to start looking like Fortnite or one of these Call of Duty games or whatever.
How do you buy skins for a D&D game?
They're going to figure. Well, I mean, once they can force you into a virtual environment, there you go. Then they've got you hooked. They need a monthly subscription and then cosmetics, and so we're going to have this weird mobile game, online gaming model that they're going to try to
aren't we?
enforce.
I'm actually gonna
yeah, right. We're not going to be there, but
you're probably going to have to pay a monthly subscription to access the books that you bought, right? And then whatever new pack for their like Rime of the Frost Maiden or Journeys in the Radiant Citadel or whatever's going to come out, and you're going to want to buy that content.
Yeah, and if you want to see what the other players are seeing in the VTT, it's definitely possible. Ooh. But so everything you produce from now on, you'll have to say no monthly fee. Have to put that little banner at the top.
or I'll go the opposite route. Yeah. Monthly fee and a link to like a Patreon or something.
Oh, right, yeah. There is a monthly fee involved, but it's completely voluntary. Yeah, so this just keeps coming out. So I think though, my contribution to the DMs Guild is a new subclass it can be any species. It's not going to be restricted to humans, and the pay pig is going to be our next big. They
just added all the way out to 20 levels. Sorry, 30 levels. How many it used to be?
Right. Yeah. So you're just going to be happy. You're actually going to get some kind of gratification from just dumping money mindlessly into a WotC's pockets, and it's going to feel good. It's going to there's a little kink involved.
Wrong game.
Yeah, so that'll be the new subclass. I hope to get written up as soon as possible because it's coming. It's coming. Yeah, so that's depressing, and it just keeps bouncing around. And so many people are mentioning this now, the kind of these missteps. And we were talking a few years ago, like kind of before the pandemic, that they were actually thinking about packaging WotC and selling it off. Like that was a thing until the pandemic hit, and then the numbers got so crazy. But it's because both D&D and Magic have kind of plateaued. Like there really isn't a insane exponential growth that they're going to be seeing. They're milking these audiences for everything they can, and they can't go any further. So I think Hasbro in the long term was like, yeah, let's just kind of hand this off. We can probably get a pretty big chunk of change for this because of the value that it presently has. But in 10 years, 20 years, it doesn't seem like this is going to be worth as much as we want it to be.
I don't know. Like I think, yeah, no, they both have their own kind of issues, right? Like Magic can only put out so many cards sets per year before people start to get fatigue. And I was going to say, but then like it's the same thing with D&D supplements or adventures, right? It kind of seems like you'd be able to publish many more adventures than you could card sets, right? But then you run into the issue of just player time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, nobody.
So there's a finite number of adventure modules you could publish, right? And so there is no exponential growth. It's like you're going to get to a certain point, and then the people are spending as much as they can,
right?
And
then
just deal with it, and maybe don't have shareholders to keep demanding more, right? I mean, like that's not going to happen, but
right, yeah. So and as soon as those DMs and players figure out that world building is really fun and homebrew is really fun, it's like, oh, we're screwed. We only sold 3 books, those 3 core books, and then they never bought a thing again, and they're still playing our damn game.
They are, which is just something you have to accept about role playing games, right? All you can do is put out stuff that people will want to buy, and there's always going to be a subset of people like myself who go, you know what, I really like doing this. I either don't have the time or I need some decent ideas. So sure, I'll buy this book and cannibalize it or rip it apart or stuff like that. So everybody's different, right? And some people are going to buy the rules and then never buy anything again. Some people will buy everything and collect it, and it's just kind of the nature of the game. And accept that, Hasbro.
Yeah, right.
Bro.
So what are you going to do with all that holiday money you're getting from the relatives and or last minute Christmas shopping? So there's a solution for both of those things. So Paizo has a holiday discount code.
Ooh, nice.
So it's going to be valid until January 18th. So plenty of time. It's not just for Christmas, and it's going to be 15% off the whole single order. But it stacks.
The whole order.
Yeah. So it stacks on top of things. So 15% doesn't sound huge, but there's a couple of ways to make that go a little bit further. So the code is holiday23 at checkout, and it's valid for anything that you're ordering. But the thing that I noticed that was very cool about Paizo's web store, and it's something I wish like Amazon would have the ability to do, but they're so their warehouses are so barbaric and they bash their merchandise into oblivion. WotC basically has full price, full MSRP for a mint condition book, or if you don't mind bent corners, if you don't mind scratches, folds, we'll give you 10, 15, 20% off in some cases. So
okay.
So non-mint is an option for physical goods on the Paizo website.
This is for Paizo,
sorry, on the Paizo website. So I thought that was really great. It was good to see that they're acknowledging that they don't want to send you these dinged up books, and they know you're as pissed off if you're collecting these books. You're as pissed off as they would be for receiving this defective merchandise. But of course, Amazon and a lot of online retailers, you're getting that discount because they are selling you things that they've just basically kicked across.
Or it's just such a huge volume. But no, because what little I know about kind of product fulfillment and watching people do Kickstarters is when stuff gets shipped, sometimes. Right, this box was stored incorrectly, and now I have an entire box that got soaked of books that I kind of can't really sell, or stuff like that. So, on the one hand, if it's still usable, you say, okay, it's marked down if you want it, and as long as people are upfront about no, this is damaged or dinged or bent corners, and people go, don't care, it's still usable, then it's kind of a win-win situation.
Yeah, so you can use it roughly at the table and not feel bad about it because you got a bit of a discount. So so non-mint is another way to make this discount go a little bit further, and also the Pathfinder Advantage program. So that discount, if you're kind of subscribing and get the regular discount for Pathfinder Advantage, this 15% off will stack against that. So there's a good way to pick up, and you're ordering directly from Paizo, so no one's taking a cut; they're getting everything. So unfortunately, internationally, like a lot of web stores, Paizo doesn't have a good solution for cheap shipping internationally. It's pretty expensive to get it, but if you're North America, and I'm sure Europe as well, you can get some books at a decent discount directly from the people making them. So
I try to buy direct wherever possible, all those
Perry
miniatures and North Star miniature stuff. I wish people had more individual sprues, and I have bought from third-party retailers, but I'm kind of wherever possible, I want to buy directly from the people who are making this thing.
Even if the shipping is not great. But the reason that shipping for some of these big, giant, online retailers is great is because they're taking advantage of courier companies and delivery companies. So, so there you go. So I'll put that in the description, the Paizo code, and it's good until next year.
Yeah, nice.
So that's it for this week.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Where can people find you?
On Twitter, as always, until I get suspended by elongated muskrat again, probably. Right? I don't know. Don't tweet out locations of his personal jet, apparently.
Oh.
Anyway. The great journalist purge. Yeah, sure. So that's Hivemind, HYVEMYND. I'm also on Instagram, and I hang out in the Turn Up 23 Brawl Arcane 28. 23, not 23 millimeter miniatures. Brawl Arcane 28, Turn Up 28, and Necropolis 28 Discord servers.
Very good. The thing I like about Twitter is the new owner says he's mostly pro FBI. So I'm pretty happy about that. I was really worried we weren't going to have feds crawling all of our social media. Anyhow,
I believe that.
And I'm still doing a single panel gag cartoon, abuse cartoons, live streamed. It's gonna be at Monday night, but it could be Wednesday night. The holiday schedule's been a mess, but it'll be at night in the week. So sign up or just subscribe to the channel, and you'll get a notification when it goes up. But I draw a single panel gag cartoon that can be found at gocomics.com/domestic abuse. And if you like what we're doing here with the weekly, please visit patreon.com/upturntable and become a weekling.
The strongest of all supporters.
Yes. The supporter class above all other classes, even though it's one of the cheaper levels. But tell us what you like about what we're doing at the weekly, what you want to see more of, and we will attempt to do that.
Yep. No promises.
Yeah, right. We're doing this.
Our attempts get larger the larger the amount.
Right. Yeah, that's right. We're restricted to lunchtime, so think about it in the terms of what happens on a lunch break. But thank you for joining us, and we'll be back next week.
Later, mortals.
Goodbye. All right. Good.
Yeah.
All right. Oh. right, and now a moment of silence for ArtStation. All right. So how's everyone doing? Hey, Casey, how's it going? Casey Nedrig, I'm glad you could catch the stream. Yeah, there was a long... I'm surprised so many people like Kotaku and so many like people that don't talk. I mean, I guess they've been dissing 5e for a while. But a lot of people have picked up that, and even people, YouTubers and things that don't normally talk about tabletop roleplay are all talking about this under-monetizing, over-printing magic cards thing, which is, pretty amazing. And just to hear, it's like, seeing how the sausage is made, or seeing like how the people that run things really think about you when you hear all the... their little financial terms and how they think about their customers. It's pretty bleak. You need to be monetized more. So Matt said, I think it's tough seeing... Oh, yeah, we're talking about the AI. So, yeah, before... So Matt sent me a really good statement that Chaosium released. So before the cast, we were talking about... So this is Patreon-only material. Before the cast, we talked about their response to AI, saying, we're giving credit to the artists. We're not allowing anybody to use. They have to, in the contract, confirm that they're not using AI tools to create things. And it's good. It's good to protect the artists. And they acknowledge that they wouldn't be where they were without the great artists that created the visual element of their games. And I think that's, very true. So Matt is saying, I think seeing people using AI art for character as a GM to help the players visualize a scene is fine. But when it starts being sold or referenced as official, it's a problem. Yeah, I think for throwaway art that you're just like using in a single session, or it's like you're generating NPCs on the fly, and you can just enter a text prompt and produce a picture get something kind of close to what you had in your head that you can throw up. That's fine because you're using it then just as a tool. But then when you're putting it on the cover of your, Kickstarted supplement, or, just like once it gets to that point, and once you're cutting out, actual creatives to replace, work that they would have done for you with just, the nonsense that AI is producing, I think that's really bad, and it's really bleak. And I know that there are people, because there's already been so many incidences. Once digital art, a lot of comic book illustration and things moved to digital, and a lot of artists were publishing putting up portfolios with decent resolution images. You had whole booths at Comic-Cons that were these poster printed stolen digital art, with the artist sitting there was just some guy that downloaded the files. And they sold, these custom prints. So they did these art prints of digital, stolen digital art, just because the resolution was good enough to do that. So of course, AI is going to create the same sort of abuse, and you can't trust the intent of the users of this and how they're going to, what they're going to do with that. Hey Abyss, how's it going? And Matt is saying, one D&D season pass as gold farming cosmetic upgrades are coming. Yeah, it's gonna be really clumsy and brutal to see how they do this, because I don't think Microsoft, if you look at Windows and Office and everything, how they're trying to monetize that and turn that into subscription service over software, you're really gonna see their incompetence, and they're gonna chase so many people away that it'll be interesting who's going to hang in there, and what kind of player base and customer base they're going to have left after that. So Miguel says, are Buzzards going to share that delicious subscription service with the hardworking GMs? Oh yeah, that's yeah. It's Oh yeah, Henry Cavill left The Witcher for Superman and then got fired. Yeah, that sucks. But I still have Eisenhorn hopes. That would be great. I'd love to see him do something. That'd be so cool to see him do something Warhammer related. But I don't know if Games Workshop has enough of. They're half-ass attempts at animation and stuff, or at least putting under contract animators that they're never going to actually pay or use is a little rough. But there was that talk of pre-production and pitch for Eisenhorn. I just don't know who's going to produce it, and the golden age of kind of streaming is over, so we may not see an Eisenhorn series. But yeah, it'd be cool to see an actual name, an actual decent actor with some screen presence there. And Casey said, could see being charged for individual class kits. Yeah, just the same way if you look at how they've already tried to monetize spell cards and various things to kind of aid you in the classes. Yeah, just take that whole thing out and have that be sold to you. So you're buying a subclass. And like I was saying, if they structure that virtual tabletop right, just like in an online game, like, depending on the skins and the models and everything you have loaded in the game and the mods you're running on the actual software itself, you could have a bunch of people at a virtual tabletop seeing somebody that doesn't pay or pays a minimum, sees a very limited version. Visually it's not so amazing, a very stripped down, like non-animated plain version, and people that are paying more premium and then also have all their cosmetics available. So I don't know. It's going to be a really weird move, and I think they're the confidence that they got with the big bump, the kind of spike in use and sales and everything during the pandemic. They're never going to see that again. Except for a second pandemic, but they're never going to see that kind of insane spike. So I don't know. They shouldn't be basing anything on that. A lot of people are just going to be. I was even seeing something about it, totally not desktop related or tabletop related. But people talking about your tax refunds in America are going to be really disappointing this year because you're so used to all of that stuff they were giving you. They all the deductions and stuff. They knocked up things so insanely. So it was very generous during the pandemic, and now that the government, the IRS says that's over. So yeah, we're going to be in a post-pandemic world trying to figure out what actually was popular, what actually do people want to spend their money on. So yeah, hey Miguel, how's it going? So if I stop my sub, do I lose my magic items? Well, they have to figure out, because that's how subs work so well. If you get it in pay and you start accumulating things, but if you stop at any time, if you cancel that membership, it's all gone. Yeah. So the way that they like photo services and stuff, like you've uploaded all these photos. And it's like, yeah, but then you lose, all these photos that we're storing for you are gone if you stop paying us monthly. Or your podcast, there's a lot of podcast services. We store it on our site and you pay us monthly, and we, it disperses and is stored from our servers. But if you stop paying us, it's gone. We just delete it. So that's exactly. Insert $5 for fire shield spells, says Miguel. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. The ancient red dragon rears his head, right? And you have to pay. Yeah, do you want to pay? It seems, it seems really difficult, and they are really working against. It's so expensive to produce physical books. You don't need to buy that many books to play the game. You can kind of stop at any time. So they're just going to be dealing with that overall. I'm going to check out Roll, said Matt. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's, I don't know. I didn't get a clear picture of how it works from the website. They don't do a good job of describing it. Maybe I should have looked at the Kickstarter page, or maybe I didn't watch any videos. So that probably would have helped explain things a little bit more. But just from the information on the playroll.com website, ROLE, they didn't do it all that well. It has, I saw reference to it has dice rollers. So the way they termed things, it was a little confusing about what you have, but everything is sheets. And I don't know if that's character sheets. I think that is like character sheets, and the sheet that you're on, or the scene that you're on, or whatever. You just prepare sheets for the session. So, I believe it does have a dice roller, because I saw reference to that, but I didn't see any screenshots or anything that made me say, wow, that looks good. Astro was everything that I needed. It was just the perfect amount of, because you could go very tactical and snap things in a grid, or you could just present scenes and then bring in the WebM video file animation with transparency and stuff, and run loops of video, as long as it was very low bandwidth. That was great. So I want to find something that has that flexibility that and drag and drop. I mean, especially in the middle of a session when you need to just throw something in there, throw a character portrait or something in there. Drag and drop is great instead of this whole elaborate process where you're like, okay, go to the, go through this directory tree and insert this as an object and then drag, then insert object with this command. That kind of stuff is not good on the fly because you need to be able to be a little bit more agile. Let's see. So, yeah. So offline, I wonder they're gonna have like 2 classes of tabletop RPGs now: the offline and online. Yeah, I don't know, and it doesn't sound. I wonder because they're gonna have to give you free trials or something to show like a lot of things give you a premium, like whatever the best possible version of the one D&D or their virtual tabletop, whatever they end up calling it, have to give you a taste of that premium and then bring you down to basic and make you want to go back to seeing all those particle effects or whatever they're gonna do. Oh yeah, actually yeah. Interesting. So Matt's saying they'll have D&D players trapped because they'll cease and desist any platforms using D&D assets. I'm glad I play other stuff. Yeah, won't have to worry. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, actually they can't without gutting their business. So Miguel is saying it's akin to McDonald's saying that you cannot eat their takeout in non-corporate places. That's coming. You can't have any burgers that aren't 100% insect protein. If you eat them outside of McDonald's property. Yeah, and there's so many that we heard the Magic numbers. We didn't hear D&D numbers as far as percentages. Like Magic had a pretty even third split between very old school players, less than 10-year players, less than like 2 or 3 year players. So I'm sure D&D has that kind of split, but it actually might be because of Stranger Things and Critical Role and stuff. The newer people that aren't that committed may be a bit larger, and so if you make it difficult or suddenly change how they're going to interact with your products, you could scare them off pretty easily because it just it takes that kind of peer pressure and stuff and like the social obligation of being in a group and stuff to pay the subscription and log on. Like a lot of MMOs and stuff, I can remember that people at work are playing, so hey, yeah, you should sign up and we'll play at night. So you need that somebody, and it's usually like the DM. It's usually the DM trying to keep a group together or add players. So so that's there it is too. That's what they're going to do. They're going to incentivize. There's going to be like an affiliate program or like a percent. Like you'll get credit that you can spend in the one D&D environment if you get your players to sign up. So basically the DMs are going to be recruiters, and they're going to have some benefit that's going to allow them to buy assets and things cheaper if they keep recruiting players. That just made me sick. So Matt's saying one of the most cringiest experiences I've had was talking to people who play D&D and give me blank stares when I try to talk about the mere existence of alternatives. Yeah, that's just like, wait, what? I thought everything 5e was roleplay. So Matt's saying I think the player demographics outside the U.S. are pretty varied. Here in the States, us indie folks feel like second-class citizens. Yeah. That's the experience they want you to have. Yeah, interesting. So Miguel says, I play D&D because it's the most popular set of rules for fantasy RPGs. I'd change to Pathfinder in a minute if needed. And that happened in the U.S. too, so not that long ago. Oh, yeah, right. People jumped ship and Paizo became a thing. So Matt's example, you play RPGs? Me too. Cool. What do you play? Blank stares and awkward blinking. I said, I play D&D. No, you said you play RPGs. Never mind. Right. Nice. Yeah, really. Yeah, what do you play? Nice. Oh, Miguel plays Final Fantasy 14. Nice. I knew really well the addiction to a sound system. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I was just I was talking to the Rob, the OSR GM, about. He was talking about Sword. What is it? Sword World. The Japanese, like the kind of biggest, most established Japanese RPG, Sword World, and it seems very similar. The thinking of the class system and everything seems very similar to Final Fantasy 14. I don't think there's a English translation. There's no official English translation or localization of Sword World, but the setting sounds interesting. It's just like they made a few kind of kind of politically incorrect choices in the setting that I think aren't going to allow it to ever make it into English very comfortably. But there's a fan website that's translated a lot of the books and rule sets and stuff. But I was surprised the skills and everything sound very much like Final Fantasy 14. Oh, nice. Yeah. I think that's surprising that they released an MMO, they went away, they retooled it, and they brought it back, and now it's like bigger or as big as World of Warcraft. That's funny. All right. Abyss, yeah, nice. It's good to see everybody in the chat. I'm glad you guys. So I guess we'll have one more before the end of the year. So it'll be the 23rd. So I guess the 22nd for everybody. The night of the 22nd. So the 23rd we'll have one more weekly. And then I'm not sure what'll happen schedule-wise for the end of the year. So we might have to take a week off and then be back in January after that. But tomorrow, and like Chris mentioned, there might be a possible reason for cancellation for the Kit Bash stream tomorrow because Chris's partner just had a booster vaccination, and everyone's reacting to those differently. So some people really get knocked for a loop, depending. So if she's in real bad shape, then we may have to reschedule. But it's possible, and it could be a Christmas Eve. Everybody's working on Christmas Eve here, so we could do a Christmas Eve Kit Bash. So that may be an option depending on what everyone's doing. So, but I'll keep you posted in the community tab and the community posts on the YouTube channel, and post on Twitter and stuff as well. So it should let you know. Yeah, I can't. But how they approach monetization is going to be wonderful. But I am feeling very under-monetized. I mean, I guess I would like sleep better and just overall be more alert and everything if I was properly monetized. Being under-monetized is like iron deficiency basically, or having a calcium a lack of calcium. Nice. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, year in review. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'll our greatest hits of the year. That's a good idea. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, I think we've done that every year. I should have that in my head already. The weekly year in review. Nice. Oh yeah, I haven't heard. The designer for Cthulhu has been posting a lot of the Japanese translation and really happy about the kind of support it's getting in Japan, but haven't heard anything about English and like he was talking about when we talked in the interview, saying that he has to be really careful because the company that he's working for, they localize Cthulhu, work with Chaosium and localize Cthulhu in Sweden, so he can't step on any toes. So I think they have to find a good deal that kind of works around current agreements and relationships and makes everybody happy. So we will see. Yes, new episode of Blade Runner is coming. I've got it. Yeah. So Matt had a great suggestion. We lost a little bit of audio. So the reason it's taken so long is because that second session had some real weird audio problems as far as how it was encoded. So there's parts of it that are unlistenable, and you got a little bit of that in part 3. You heard a little bit of that. I cut around that as much as possible, but the audio started to get a little choppy. But we're gonna have a kind of a key moment recreated. So we're going to record of a character moment that was lost, and that should be fine. So I'll have everything kind of put together. We'll record that audio and I'll drop that in, and we'll be good to go. So I just gotta bug Will for a spare moment one of these nights. All right. See you next time, Miguel. Take care. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, new Blade Runner's coming up, and yeah, it's great. It's great to see so many people watching that. And I think all I was trying to do is recreate our Astral experience, but I think we accidentally kind of tapped into something that's really fun about actual plays. Is just the players, voices, everybody at the table's voices are good, but if you can focus on something visually interesting that immerses you in the game and the characters, I think that's pretty fun. So take care, Miguel, and I think that will do it for this week. Abyss is saying the GW numbers are up, and a big actor. Oh yeah, Cavill could bring a lot. Oh yeah. They should really. I mean, they should spend some money, and if his schedule is talk to his management, and if his schedule is now open, get him to do some Warhammer Plus content or something. Could you imagine if he had a show on Warhammer Plus? That would be insane. They could probably afford to, because of what that might do to subscriptions, they could probably afford to pay him pretty well. It'd be so funny. Yeah. he's doing painting tutorials. He's the new Duncan on for Games Workshop. That'd be hysterical. All right. Yeah, I hope he finds something good. I hope there's a good match. They were saying they he's not Superman anymore, but they said they had another DC role for him. But yeah, I don't know. But the only thing I do agree with the James Gunn kind of recasting is I definitely think Jason Momoa is a much better Lobo than an Iron Man or Aquaman. Yeah, Aquaman was a bit funny, the fish bro kind of Aquaman version, but he would be a great Lobo. So hopefully we'll see a Lobo movie. Everybody's been dying for one of those. So we'll see. So that's a good idea. So kind of a year in review next week. So, and that'll be a fun thing to interact with too. I would definitely want to hear from you guys about what was what you played this year, what was your favorite thing, and what was kind of biggest disappointment. So maybe we'll do best and worst, or kind of the worst things that happened and the best things that happened throughout the year with all the updates. I'll kind of go through and make a little outline of everything we talked about, and we'll go through that. But yeah, definitely Blade Runner, and definitely playing with Matt and Will has been one of the big highlights of my year. I didn't think I was really anti, because we were kind of forced to do it during lockdowns and not being able to meet face to face, and I'm really frustrated with we did a little Roll20 and then just Google Meets and whiteboard stuff, and I did a little Discord, Star Wars Discord, and just playing with randos on Discord is not cool. So people that you kind of click with and have a kind of similar thinking makes a huge difference. So it's very cool. So yeah, we'll talk about next week. We'll talk about all that year in advance. So talk to Games Workshop or Hasbro. Then your money belongs to plastic or cards or digital PDFs. That's a really crazy thing. Yeah, Abyss, I think maybe younger people are more used to owning nothing, spending money and owning nothing. But for me, especially in a hobby, the collecting and having a bookshelf full of things that I've played and things that I can go back to and use for inspiration. It's just having that be a series of PDFs that I have to log into a service to even look at. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be weird. All right, everyone. Well, take care. And we'll do this again next week. And it may be the last weekly of the year. So we'll see. And what was this? This was 170. Yeah, we're up to episode 170. So we're working on, so by the middle of next year, we'll be at the 200 mark. We'll have to do something special for 200. All right. So take care, everyone. And thank you so much for the patrons and for new patrons that signed up. And I think that's related to the Blade Runner AP. So people are getting their copies of Blade Runner from the Kickstarter, and now it's available at retail. And so people have been finding that actual play. So, and thanks to Matt and Will for doing such a great job with that actual play. So next episode is coming. Just have a little re-recording, and it should be fine. And that might be able to happen over the weekend. We'll see. So see you next week, and take care, everyone. So stay warm and be safe, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay. Goodbye.